Now, ESG is coming in as a norm, as an audit norm, especially with listed companies and publicly held companies, and it may be rolled on to privately held companies tomorrow. So, but it is there. Now, corporate sustainability is like the other side of the coin. It provides a framework to get to your ESG
Right.
guidelines and audit, because
Correct.
it cannot be done over a day. And it's different from corporate social responsibility because you can do a lot of good things, with the mandated 2%.
Hello everyone, I'm Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur and author of the book Pep Tech Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs and more. Today I have with me Miss Sonali Dutta. She has over 36 years of experience in diverse areas such as market research, sales, marketing, advocacy, branding, intellectual property, contract and licensing agreements, HR and corporate responsibility, and initiatives particularly in market and human resource development in various geographies, particularly in Southeast Asia, China, USA, and of course India. She has done honors in English Literature and Postgraduate in Economics with Diploma in Marketing Management and Training and Development. The last position she was heading was Vice President Corporate Affairs and HR, Bry-Air and Pahwa Group. She worked there for 33 plus years and was a member of management committee. During her journey, worked on multiple roles. She took retirement after 33 years in Bry-Air Private Limited and Pahwa Group, where she served as a Vice President Corporate Affairs and HR and member of the managing committee. And she now currently lives between Goa and Gurgaon, and she's an organic farmer now. Also, she does consultant for responsible business practices and branding, and G100 advisory member, World Peace Haryana State Council, National President Corporate Sustainability Council, WICCI. So today she will be discussing with us about her life journey. So let us hear from her. Welcome, ma'am. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Jitendra, for having me here. That was quite an introduction. So I'm sure, though I have that experience, but when somebody actually lists it out, one does feel a little small.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so go ahead. How do you want me to?
So, ma'am, that's really wonderful. Like 33 years in Bry and total 36 years of experience, really immense. And from there, I'll start. Like, how did your past life affect the person who you wanted to be in your life and what you are? Like, how this is differentiating your personal thoughts versus your career.
Frankly, Jitendra, my career didn't start out to be what I probably set out to be, because my father had a transferable job. Our main thing was every 2.5 years to get admitted to a good school in a new city. So while that gave me a lot of value in getting along with people and easily being able to, get to new places and settle down, etc. As far as the job front goes, I did 3 years of lot of things, but then at Bry-Air I got the opportunity to have many careers at the same company. So Right. It was a very enjoyable thing, and I think all that, my parents' liberal attitude, though they were strict, the education in different cities, and each state has its own typical culture. But since you were traveling between states, you were able to absorb everything without being very absorb maybe the good things and
Right.
not become very rigid on things. So I think that is what gave me a value, a security, internal security, but being flexible, understanding the other person's point of view, because that's very important. When you look at things, it's my way, it's only my way, it doesn't help. So that has helped me a lot to the person what I am. Educationally, like all good students at one point of time, I went and gave my pre-medical exams and tried to be a doctor.
Right.
I kind of didn't qualify for a very little point, and will not get into why and wherefores. But at that point, one was young and one was pretty upset at the fact that why for point zero whatever percent you lose your seat to somebody who's probably not qualified enough. So I changed over from science to English literature, economics, and history,
Right.
and did my post-graduation, and then that's history, So I've got a little bit of science background, I've got a arts background and economics background. So again, I look at it that actually, if I look back, that helped me a lot.
Right.
So
Really wonderful, because you tried for something and you went into something else.
No, I'm very happy. And I started working for an engineering company, doing a lot of content which had to be actually in a non-engineering language. So
Right.
I had to understand. So my background of science did help me a little in understanding certain things. And of course, my boss, who's the owner of the company and the chairman and managing director of that time, my boss, he mentored me very well, and I was able to grow in the organization, which was a completely engineering organization. So anything which had to do with non-engineering and nothing specific came to me. So my career growth came from there because somebody else would not do it.
Correct.
And I had to look for a way of my career. So I found new things, always a challenge.
Right. So that's why you were part of multiple departments. Actually.
Yeah. So I didn't need to move companies because the same company gave me so much of flavor of different aspects of job. And that's actually, I think if I look back, that's been my passion also, that I like doing new things. I like taking up challenges and doing them well. And then when they are all stabilized, I get a little bored.
My next question was about things you are passionate in your life.
I like traveling a lot. And I'm at that stage of life, when one has done a lot, one has worked very seriously and very hard. I must say very, very hard. But I have now in that state of life that I like enjoying my life, my time now, doing things which interest me. That is why that farm and a little bit of education on that line. And it's a new area again. And this corporate sustainability, it's an honorary position, but I'm enjoying working with a group of very, very wide sector of women who come from very different profiles and different backgrounds. And it is interesting at the moment. So anything, I like traveling.
Right.
I'm trying to relearn some hobbies which I had given up. So that's it. Trying something new, learning pottery.
So now you are doing farming as well.
Creative.
Right?
There's something creative, little bit of creative.
Great. So you've been working quite long. So on to your work and experiences. How you started your career and what all you did during your journey of 36 years?
And like I told you, I initially started trying to be a doctor and then didn't. And then after I did very well in my literature, everybody expected that I should be doing my post-graduation in English literature, which I was very good at. And then I decided that I'll take up economics, which I did equally well because I didn't want to end up being a professor. At that point of time, I was a nervous person, who I thought would not do well in front of students. I didn't like speaking.
Right.
Public speaking. So I always looked at things. And my dad was in the government, central government, and he obviously wanted us to both, me and my brother, to go into do our civil services, etc. And somehow, when you're young, you tend to rebel a little. And I wanted to go into a private sector. So while I was experimenting, I did market research. I started my career with IMRB. At that time, it was the top market research firm. Worked for there about a year or so, both in the field as well as the back office in the analysis department. Then did 2 years of hardcore sales, office automation. And that time, women really was not into sales.
Very rare.
It was a very difficult job. But it gave me a lot of good experience, and it helped me to build another skin over. So not to get easily offended, not to, to take take things in your stride, to stand in your own right, without, because you were literally walking into offices trying to sell EPABX systems, which was just in.
Right.
And then I joined Bry-Air and as the marketing development person there, and market development, because through education, that's the company where technology, they are into dehumidification and air-related engineering technologies. So at that point of time, a lot of education was needed at the marketplace. So it was not business development per se, but more market development to develop the business.
Right.
So you needed to educate a lot. There was a lot of written, there were newsletters, there were marketing mailers. So I started doing that. And then, of course, as Bry-Air opened new offices in Malaysia, China, etc., I had the opportunity to travel and stay there for a while, anywhere between 6 weeks and more, and train the people there for marketing, etc. And since I would go there for training for marketing, but since I was from HO and I would be there for a longer time, people expected me to know everything about the company. So I ended knowing everything about how other processes worked. Right. So that gave me and so I got to know how the engineering department worked, how the IT department worked, how the manufacturing department worked, because how the service department worked. So I kind of assimilated all that knowledge. And of course, then marketing became a little bit detailed, and the IP and branding came into it. And then the corporate HR came in, because again, one was traveling, one was training people, and so not operational HR, but at a corporate level, more of development, policies and HR resources at an overall level, training and development.
Right. Training and development part.
And then the company continues to be leader in its field, at a very niche field. So they did also a lot of initiatives for the industry per se. And my then boss, Mr. Pahwa, he was involved very heavily, and he would get me involved. So I got involved with the industry associations, etc. So one thing led to the other, and then the other corporate initiatives. So we ran a awards even for the whole industry for 10 years, and it was at that time it was called the Filmfare Awards of the HVAC industry, because the industry didn't have anything. So that's what people used to quote it. And of course now there are a lot of things happening, etc. So overall it's been a very satisfying career, and I've been very happy.
So that's really wonderful. Now, if I talk about your vision, mission and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years from now, so what would that be?
Well, I said that one is at that point in life, when one looks back, that ambition is there. Here you want to make sure that you make a difference to somebody's life at the moment. While the financial, etc. is there, but you are no longer ambitious to a point that I want to be this, and then I want to buy a bigger car, and I want to have a bigger house, I want to have a bigger designation, and I want to do this. The thing is, I should be able to do something which adds value to somebody. I mentor people. That's why the consultancy could have been on anything, but responsible business practices is what I look at being furthering. Today we all give lip services to a lot of things, but to actually take it forward, and sometimes it's a very small step. You don't need to change the world in a day. And also I think so I wouldn't really push it as a mission, vision, this thing. 10 years ago, if you had asked me, or 15 years ago, I would have told you, okay, in 2 years I would like to be there, in 5 years. Now I just want to enjoy my life while doing something meaningful for bettering other people's lives. Make a little bit of difference. The village where I have my farm, see if I can do something for the villagers there. Somebody where can we do more sustainable? So we are promoting natural farming. So there's a whole series of webinars we are doing on natural farming processes. So
great. Really
it doesn't bring you money.
Now your focus is to support and help people. Really wonderful.
Yeah. So you can say I'm ambitious enough to the point to do things well, even in that well. That was the thing.
So you have huge experience and seen so many things in life. So from your personal and professional journey, if I ask the most important life lessons you have learned, so what are those?
I think something which I have believed in is that you need to be flexible, but you need to hold your own also. You need to know when to take a stand and when not to take a stand. So that is one. Second is you have to live by your decisions in life. When our decisions, every decision doesn't give us the right result or the success.
Correct.
In our personal lives as well as in our professional life. But when we seek to blame other people for that decision, we make ourselves unhappy, we make everybody around us unhappy. And it's a vicious circle. We can never get out of it. So I have always learned that I've always said that, okay, if you take a decision, it is your decision. And if it's a hard decision, you have to take. You take opinions from people, but finally it is your decision and you have to stand by it.
Correct.
Third is, I think I say that nothing is unachievable. Nothing is a rocket science, most of the thing, unless it's very technical. So whatever you've got, a lot of people get disappointed or they feel bad that, oh, I wanted to be this, but I cannot be this. Oh, I wanted to go abroad. I just can't do this. But make the best of the situation and enjoy your job. Whatever you're doing it, then you can do it well. Don't think that I'm getting paid only this much, so I'll only do this much. You'll never learn and you'll never grow as a person.
Correct. Rightly pointed out, and this is really important to understand.
It is very important because don't be blinded. See, I am a salesperson, so I'll only do sales. I'm an operational person, I'll only do. Don't look around you, absorb, be a sponge, absorb. And you will see that there's so much of knowledge you'll gain, so much of people you will be able to help. People will help you.
Correct.
I mean, there's no end of learning. I'm still learning.
Definitely. Learning is the best friend you ever had. So, ma'am, you've been working on if we talk about sustainability and you have worked on corporate for long. So on to it. So how can companies effectively measure and track their sustainability efforts to ensure that they are making a positive impact overall?
Say, let me take a step back and take you through this whole corporate sustainability dynamics, which is being talked about so much. Right. There's another term which is being talked about more is ESG, environment, social governance.
Right.
Now, ESG is coming in as a norm, as an audit norm, especially with listed companies and publicly held companies, and it may be rolled on to privately held companies tomorrow. So, but it is there. Now, corporate sustainability is like the other side of the coin. It provides a framework to get to your ESG guidelines and audit, because it cannot be done over a day. And it's different from corporate social responsibility because you can do a lot of good things, with the mandated 2%. But you can do that, and as an organization, you can still be wrecking environment or be culturally unfriendly within your own organization. So while you might be donating for a school or a college or environment outside, your own processes may not be.
Right.
There's also the corporate sustainability. Before you measure it, you need to change some little things. Every organization can do it, and so you start. The measurement can be in terms of how much waste are you producing, how much energy are you recycling or not, are you environment friendly or not, can you do something to your processes which can make things different. Culturally, how are you sensitizing your people? Today, everybody talks about work from home, forgetting a large part of India is also manufacturing.
Correct.
They cannot work from home. They are coming to the offices. The workers are coming. Manufacturing offices, in fact, even during the lockdown, manufacturing companies, and especially people related to the pharma food, they came back to work much, much longer than other people did.
Correct.
So while everybody talks about work from home as if it is the done thing, we forget about the large part of India which is still in brick and mortar. And if that brick and mortar is not there, fundamentally, like the whole world at one point of time, today people are looking options for China because all manufacturing had shifted to China. So that is where you need to make the difference in the culturally. Because today people from everywhere, your workers, your people are coming from a small city, a village, and you'll have people working who, if your office is in a big city, then there'll be people who are working in whose background is from a big city. So another person who's coming from a small, very small, a C or a D class town, or a person who's coming from a village, the person who studied, let's say, in Delhi, Bombay, their mindsets, lifestyles are different. How do you? I mean, this is at the simplest pattern. Then there is a lot of these other things, diversities, and I mean, you get to the next level. But the first level is how?
First thing is
gender equality.
Correct the basics.
Gender equality is there or not? Are you biased or not? Sometimes we don't realize, but we just are biased. We see somebody dressed in a particular way, we see somebody speaking in a particular way, we tend to judge the person. So
True.
Those are very important parts. Those are very important part from the corporate sustainability point of view.
Right.
Thing.
So you rightly pointed out, and onto this further, if I talk about what are some of the practical steps that small and medium-sized businesses can take to incorporate sustainable practices into their operations?
So very simple. Now, of course, we've gone mostly digital, but there's still a lot of paper being generated.
Correct.
Okay. So the paper can be recycled and reused. Your waste, bigger companies have canteens. Food is going in waste. Composted. Water harvesting is there. These are small steps. It doesn't. Make sure you have sensors to that your washrooms, etc. The lights get switched on when somebody walks in. The electricity is not, the areas which are not used on a regular basis, they're sensor-based things. And these are very little things. A lot of offices are air-conditioned. Of course, when IT was functioning, everything was air-conditioned.
Right.
And we are a tropical country. We live in a hot weather, yet we adjust our ACs to 18 degrees. Why not?
Correct.
So see if you can get more, you can have more natural light. These are very little things. You don't need to go to the carbon footprint later. But first see how much generated, your scrap which has been generated. Can you make your processes more efficient? Your electronics which are being discarded. Your grey water, the big companies which have canteens and all that. There would be dishwashers, etc., which are cleaning the dishes. Is the grey water recycled? The big ROs which are throwing away so much of water, is that water can be used for something else?
Right.
So I'm talking about very simple things at the moment, and these are very simple things. It doesn't need any rocket science, no. But it makes it economic sense because you'll save money at the ultimately your bottom line.
Correct.
And
you rightly pointed out.
Corporate sustainability, one very big important point about it is apart from all the welfare and the benefits and everything, it has to be economically viable, because no profit-making company will do charity if it is not economically viable.
True.
And of course, branding, they get their branding also. But if you're reducing your waste, if you're making your processes more efficient, you are saving money, making more profit.
Definitely, that will impact not in the short run probably, but maybe in a longer run.
It's a long-term thing, but baby steps. If you start now, you will see a difference some difference in a year's time, some difference in 3 years' time, more different. But if you don't make that journey, it will not.
You just spoke about bottom line, profitability. So onto this, if I ask you, in what ways the corporate sustainability initiatives benefit both environment and company bottom line?
See, bottom line, if you're saving and reducing waste, you are generating. Then if your utility bills go down, you're saving money.
Correct.
And culturally, if your company culture changes and people work better together, that is a very important thing, that you are retaining people. True. Or even people who leave you, they give the company a better branding. They talk about the company with pride, even if they've left the organization. So all that give you value at the bottom line. It helps the people, it helps the profit, it helps the planet.
Right.
It's called...
Your employees are also your marketing team as well.
No, see, every employee, because that branding is very important. Because while we do our external branding, which we might, and today you see whether it's Starbucks, and Tata started it, I think 20 years ago, when they said we also make steel, we also make steel. So everybody was talking about, the brand valuation and bringing in that. And now, but your employees are your biggest brand ambassador.
True.
Today, I still treat this with a lot of pride with the for Bry-Air. And and a lot of people do, people who work 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or many years with. So that is how many people they become your brand ambassadors.
Correct.
And it's not only the money; it is the empathy and the company culture.
Correct.
Or the leadership.
That's really important because creating a company culture is one biggest challenge. We see these days new corporates which are coming up. They are facing these challenges actually.
But that's because communication, it's only one way. Digital is good, but one-to-one communication or one-to-many communication, people don't communicate face-to-face very well.
Right.
Even sitting next to each other, there'll be WhatsApping. or so that is their body language. And I think overall, when you're working with people, empathy goes a long way with the culture.
True.
Because you need human beings, their emotions are there. So you need to be supportive of that also. And then the person works well.
Correct. So, ma'am, that's really amazing. And if I talk about the kind of support you got in your journey throughout, so who were the people supported you the most?
I like to begin with my parents. They were both my parents, my father was extremely supportive. They never differentiated between me and my brother. We were brought up to do the same thing. They were very strict, but they were liberal, and education and knowledge was what they wanted. So that was there, and we were a small family. I have a younger brother. He's been extremely supportive. Also, he continues to be supportive.
Right.
Then when I started working, as I said, my boss was my mentor, and I worked well with him. I worked for 33 years with him. And so my colleagues were supportive. I have a very good set of friends. So I've been fortunate that way. If I look back, and I still have, I have that support system everywhere I go. I have the good set of friends, good set of ex-colleagues, and who are friends now, family and extended family. But to start with, it was my parents, If they hadn't given me that foundation, I probably would not have.
Right.
The way they say that. And they taught me to be a very independent person, to think for myself, handle my own money.
Correct.
Make sure I took my decisions right or wrong. Correct.
Right.
On my own. Supported by them, but
obviously. So support is really important. Decisions you have to take your own self.
Yeah. So I think.
Right. So if I talk about motivation and inspiration in your life, so how you get your motivation and inspiration from?
Now?
Throughout,
it's evolving. Initially, it was my parents, then my sibling, and then, of course, office, your boss, your colleagues. You drew motivation, and my work, actually. The fact that I think internally, like I said, that I am basically a lazy person, but I do like doing things well, whatever I take up. So, ये जरा contra हो जाता है, so it makes me work hard. So I have that little bit of that ego thing that whatever I take up, I should do it very well.
Right.
Or I should not do it at all. So that is where I end up this thing. So it's I'm pretty self-driven.
Right.
I'm very self-driven also, that when I decide to take up something, I do. And I don't draw inspiration from people around me. I don't say that while growing up, I really didn't have a particular role model while this thing, because like I said, that one was busy getting from one point to another and absorbing what you put. But I love reading. So somewhere down the line, I guess things have affected, the books you read, people around me, even my grandmothers, they were very strong women.
Right. So it's all about like whatever kind of environment you have, you see.
Environment. I give it to that environment. I've been very fortunate on that.
Right.
Life has its ups and downs, but overall, I think I've been lucky.
Wonderful. So if I ask you about success, what do you think success is to you? Your take on success?
I think success at the end of it, that you should be happy with your life. Happy with what you've achieved. Because if you're not a happy person, you're not successful. I mean, you might have all the money in the world. And today, health is very important when you're at this state. 20 years ago, you were running after the job. Get it done. This is 24/7, early morning flights, late night, this thing. I still work. I'm more of an owl than a early morning person. I still work late in the night. If I have to work, I'd rather do my work later in the night. But still, I think having that satisfaction and security within yourself, I think that is very important, that you don't seek external things to feel happy.
Correct.
Because then there is no end to it.
True. If you see, one day I would get successful, then that one day would never come.
It is not. It
So
is. It is a stepping stone. It
you
is
have
a
to
stepping
feel.
stone. Only when you get to that point in the road, you can see what is your next level, and then go to the next level, and you'll see the next level and whatever. I mean, I find it satisfying. I found it. I mean, little bit of this thing from Gurgaon to Goa with my couple of my friends. I drove the car over 5 days. I thought it was a great achievement
Correct.
at that point of time. So little things, sometimes you should enjoy the little things.
That's really important. When you enjoy whatever is happening in your life, then that is success actually.
And I think also it's very important to enjoy other people's successes in your lives, your friends, your colleagues.
True.
Instead of being in your siblings, your families, instead of being envious. Array, he's got a better job, she's
Right.
got a better car, they've got a bigger house. There's no end. There's no
Correct.
end to it. Unless you're a very secure person in yourself, you are in for trouble.
True. Rightly pointed out. So now we are on last question. Any message or advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
I think if the people hear all about it, that's what I've been saying. But yes, I would say in today's day and age, the next generation, they have a lot going in for them. Because fortunately, a lot of them have families which can support them to follow their passion.
True.
Our generation, we had to get doing what we had to do quickly. But today, and then opportunities are there. There's so
Correct.
much opportunities
Correct.
that you can. So I think they should learn to grab those opportunities. And there is no other solution than hard work, actually.
True. No shortcut.
You not shortcut. Finally, you have to learn things. You can, whether it's ChatGPT or Google or whatever, this has to be put at work.
Correct. If you use these
So-
AI tools, then also you have to put your brain how to use them properly.
Exactly. So don't let that rust. Don't let that rust at all. God has given you that.
Correct.
And human beings have that. So use it, and use these as tools. These are tools to become more efficient, more capable.
Correct.
But don't give yourself up, become a slave to the tools.
True. That's really important. You rightly pointed out.
That is.
And that would be wonderful thing. You start using these tools to ease out your like whatever you are doing.
Earlier it was a phone, now it's a mobile phone with every facility, but it's still a tool at the end of the day.
Correct. You rightly pointed out, ma'am. And that is the best way. We have all these tools to use them properly. And we also have like mind, brain, what we call it as. Different people call different things. So use it wisely, like every AI or technology tools we have, and use them for our benefit, not for like easy out solutions, immediate solutions. Really.
There's something which I used to mention it to a lot of people, that listen, your parents have worked very hard to give you that education, and God has given you the brain. So please make use of both of them.
Correct, rightly said. So, ma'am, I must say the discussion was really amazing. You have shared your story, how you started, like your career, what all you did, and how was your personal journey. That also you've shared was really amazing. And 36 years of experience, really immense. Lots of career opportunities you have handled during this journey, and lots of learning as well, which you have shared some of the things with us, and which is not sufficient for us to talk about. I think this session was not sufficient. We will connect again. We will talk more onto like your upcoming book and your journey as well. And I think most important would be your career part, wherever you were traveling internationally and within India for your like business journeys. So that would be also be interesting one, because that point in time there were very few people or very few women doing those kind of roles and responsibilities. So would like to talk more onto this in next one. Looking forward to it, ma'am, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so very much for your time. It was wonderful having you here today.
Thank you, Jitendra. Thank you for having me. It was wonderful talking to you. Didn't realize how time had flown. Thank you.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance wherever they feel like. So guys, don't forget to check that out too. Thank you so very much everyone for watching and listening, and I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye-bye.